Ladies and gentlemen, happiness is not an accident. It is not something that drifts into our lives like the wind. It is a deliberate choice, a cultivated habit, and a daily victory over doubt, fear, and negativity. To be happy every day, you must push yourself. Yes, push yourself, because no one else can do it for you. Your happiness begins and ends with the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. The mind is like fertile soil. It will grow whatever seeds you plant in it. If you sow seeds of worry, anger, and self-doubt, you will reap frustration and despair. But if you choose to plant thoughts of gratitude, possibility, and strength, then happiness becomes your natural harvest. The mind is never idle. It is constantly producing something, and you must decide whether that production will be weeds or fruit. Each morning, before the world rushes in with its noise and demands, pause and claim authority over your own thinking. Say to yourself, "Today I will not allow fear to dictate my mood. I will not let negativity steal my energy. I will not dwell on what cannot be changed." By making this decision, you set the boundaries for your day. Just as a captain charts the course of a ship before leaving the harbor, you must chart the direction of your thoughts before you step into the world. Understand this truth: you are not the servant of your thoughts. You are their master. Too often, people drift through life as prisoners of worry, replaying past failures, imagining future disasters, and giving power to voices of doubt. But happiness comes when you take the wheel and say, "I choose my thoughts, I command my focus, and I will think in the direction of joy and progress." You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you interpret it. A setback can be the end of hope, or it can be the beginning of wisdom. An insult can wound you deeply, or it can strengthen your resolve. The meaning of every event is determined not by the event itself, but by the thought you attach to it. When you choose empowering thoughts, you create empowering feelings, and when you create empowering feelings, you shape a life of happiness. The world belongs to the person who has learned to govern his own mind. The weak man says, "I cannot help how I feel." The strong man declares, "I will feel what I choose to feel, because I will think what I choose to think." And when you develop that mastery, when you discipline yourself to direct your mind toward gratitude, hope, and opportunity, you will discover that happiness is no longer something you chase. It is something you carry with you everywhere you go. A smile is one of the simplest yet most powerful choices you can make to set the course of your day. It is far more than a movement of the lips. It is a declaration to yourself and to the world that you will not be conquered by gloom, worry, or circumstance. When you wake in the morning, before the weight of responsibilities and interruptions presses in on you, decide to put a smile on your face. Do it deliberately, even if your feelings are not yet in agreement. The body often leads the mind, and by setting your expression to joy, you invite your emotions to follow. Too many people wait for life to give them a reason to smile. They think happiness must arrive before they can display it. But the truth is the opposite. Happiness often flows from the decision to act as if it is already present. A smile is an announcement of faith. It says, "I expect good in this day. I am prepared to welcome opportunities, and I refuse to let negativity dominate my spirit." Think for a moment about the effect of a smile on others. A genuine smile disarms anger, softens indifference, and draws people toward you. It has the power to change the atmosphere of a room more quickly than any words. When you choose to smile, you are not only shaping your own state of mind, but also influencing the mood of everyone around you. You spread a silent encouragement that says, "Life is worth facing and joy is still possible." That influence returns to you multiplied because the world reflects back the energy you project. Even on the hardest mornings, when problems weigh heavily on your shoulders, smile anyway. Not because everything is perfect, but because you refuse to give your trials the satisfaction of ruling your spirit. A smile in the face of adversity is a symbol of strength. It says, "I am still in command of myself, and no storm will dictate my spirit." Over time, this practice transforms you. It rewires the habit of your mind from complaint to confidence, from dread to anticipation. Remember this: the day will always try to decide for you. Circumstances will rush in with reasons to be anxious, irritated, or discouraged. But if you decide to smile first, you set the tone, and the day must adjust to you rather than you adjusting to it. By choosing joy at the very beginning, you walk into life as the master of your emotions rather than the servant of events. And in that choice, repeated every morning, lies a great secret of lasting happiness. Every life encounters struggle. It does not matter how carefully you plan, how hard you work, or how sincerely you hope. Challenges will come. Some arrive as sudden storms, others as slow, grinding pressures that wear on the spirit. Yet in every difficulty lies a hidden gift, the chance to grow, to rise, and to become stronger than you were before. The difference between those who are crushed by life and those who are lifted by it is not the size of the struggle, but the choice of how to see it. When a problem stands before you, you have two paths: to see it as a wall that blocks you or as a stone that raises you. A wall ends your journey, but a stone, if you step upon it, elevates your perspective and moves you forward. Struggles test your patience, your determination, your faith in yourself. They strip away the unnecessary and reveal what is essential. What appears to be a punishment is often preparation. What feels like a setback may be the very training ground for your next victory. Think of the strongest steel. It is not made in calm waters, but in the fire. The fiercest storms create the deepest roots in trees. And so it is with human beings. You are shaped by what you endure. Each hardship faced with courage adds a layer of resilience to your character. Each obstacle overcome writes another line in the story of your strength. The man or woman who has never struggled may live comfortably, but they will never know the depth of satisfaction that comes from triumphing over adversity. Ask yourself, when difficulty arises, not "why me?" but "what is this teaching me?" Every struggle carries a lesson, and happiness grows when you find meaning in your trials. A failure can teach humility and sharpen your skills. A betrayal can remind you of the value of trust and push you toward wiser choices. Even loss can deepen your gratitude for the things and people you still have. If you decide to see challenges as teachers instead of enemies, they become stepping stones, carrying you higher with each lesson learned. It is easy to be happy when life is smooth. The true test of happiness is whether you can still find light when the sky is dark. When you choose to meet struggle with faith, determination, and the refusal to quit, you convert suffering into strength. Every time you climb over a hardship, you rise to a higher level of self-respect. You begin to realize that no matter what life throws at you, you have the power to transform it. And with that realization comes a quiet joy that no storm can erase. Struggles are not the end of the path. They are the path. Treat them as steps, not stops. Push yourself to rise upon them, and you will discover that every hardship you face can become the very stone that lifts you closer to happiness, success, and inner peace. No one climbs to happiness or success entirely alone. The people you choose to walk beside you will either carry you upward or drag you downward, and for that reason you must be deliberate about your associations. Human beings are impressionable by nature. The energy, attitudes, and habits of those around us seep into our own lives, often without us even noticing. If you spend your days among complainers, you will find yourself complaining. If you surround yourself with dreamers, you will begin to dream bigger. If you walk with people of courage, their courage will rub off on you. Your associations are like mirrors that slowly shape your character, and in time you will resemble the company you keep. Think of your mind as a garden. The people you allow into your life are either planting seeds of growth or scattering weeds of doubt. A careless word, a constant criticism, or a negative outlook is like poison to your spirit. If you permit such voices to remain too close for too long, they will stifle your happiness and choke your ambition. On the other hand, uplifting friends, mentors, and companions are like water and sunlight to your soul. They encourage, they challenge, they expect the best of you, and they refuse to let you settle for less than you can be. Guarding your associations does not mean cutting yourself off from the world. It means being wise enough to protect the inner circle of influence that surrounds you daily. You cannot always choose your family or coworkers, but you can choose how much access their attitudes have to your heart. You can limit the hours you spend with those who drain your spirit, and you can expand the time you give to those who inspire it. Happiness demands that you place boundaries between yourself and persistent negativity. Consider this truth. Every great achievement in history has been born within a circle of encouragement. Leaders had advisors who believed in them. Innovators had partners who shared their vision. Even those who stood seemingly alone drew strength from people who pushed them forward rather than pulling them back. You are no different. Your joy, your peace, and your progress will always be linked to the quality of the people you walk with. Therefore, choose carefully. Seek out individuals who celebrate your victories, even the small ones, and who challenge you when you shrink from your potential. Surround yourself with those who talk about ideas instead of gossip, possibilities instead of problems, solutions instead of excuses. Every day you spend with such people strengthens your capacity for happiness, because they remind you of who you are capable of becoming. And remember, you too are someone else's association. The energy you bring into a room, the words you speak, and the example you set will either lift or lower those around you. As much as you guard your associations, strive also to be the kind of person others are glad to guard in theirs. By living this way, you create a circle of shared strength, and in that circle, happiness multiplies. The body cannot thrive without nourishment, and the same is true of the spirit. Too often people attend carefully to their physical needs, food, water, clothing, shelter, yet starve their inner life. They wonder why they feel weary, empty, or restless even when their material needs are met. The answer is simply the spirit, like the body, demands daily care. If you neglect it, it weakens. If you feed it, it grows strong and steady, capable of carrying you through whatever the day may bring. Feeding your spirit begins with what you allow into your mind. Words are food for the soul. Read and listen to those that inspire, that call forth courage, that remind you of possibility. A page from a book of wisdom, a passage of uplifting poetry, a few lines of affirmation spoken aloud each morning. These are not luxuries. They are necessities. Just as breakfast sets the energy for your body, positive words set the tone for your emotions and decisions. When you choose nourishment over noise, you protect your joy from being consumed by the emptiness of trivial distractions. But feeding your spirit is not only about what you consume, it is also about what you give. Acts of kindness are powerful nourishment for the soul. A simple gesture, offering encouragement to a friend, helping a stranger, or speaking hope into someone's day, returns to you in the form of deep satisfaction and quiet happiness. The spirit grows stronger when it contributes, when it realizes it has value, when it leaves the world even slightly better than it found it. In giving, you receive the richest food for your inner life. Silence and reflection are also part of this daily feeding. The world is noisy, full of demands that pull your attention in 100 directions. If you do not pause, if you do not carve out a few moments of stillness, your spirit will remain cluttered and restless. Take time to sit quietly, to breathe, to think, or to pray, whatever brings you closer to your own center. In those quiet moments, the mind clears and the heart gathers strength. A peace is the nourishment that silence provides, and without it, happiness soon fades. Consider, too, the importance of beauty. Music that stirs the heart, art that lifts the imagination, nature that reminds you of life's vastness. These things are food for the spirit. They awaken emotions that ordinary routines cannot reach. Seek them daily, even in small doses, and you will find your happiness renewed. Above all, make this nourishment a habit, not an occasional indulgence. Just as you would not go days without eating or drinking, do not let days pass without filling your inner life with strength and hope. Happiness is not sustained by accident. It is sustained by the consistent feeding of the spirit. When you take this responsibility seriously, you discover a deep reservoir of joy that no hardship, no disappointment, and no circumstance can easily drain. Happiness does not wait for perfect conditions, nor does it come to those who sit idly hoping the world will rearrange itself in their favor. It belongs to the person who chooses to act with intention, who decides that today will not be wasted in excuses. Every excuse you allow yourself to entertain steals a piece of your joy, because excuses are the language of stagnation. They sound reasonable, they feel comforting, but they keep you chained to the same place, the same problems, the same unhappiness. Purpose, on the other hand, sets you in motion. It gives you direction, momentum, and the deep satisfaction of knowing you are moving forward, however small the step may be. Action is the bridge between desire and fulfillment. You may dream of happiness, you may talk about it, you may even imagine it in great detail. But until you rise and act, it remains only a vision. Too many people wait for the right time, to start the right time to change, the right time to pursue joy, the right time to break old habits. But the truth is, there is no perfect time. There is only now. The moment you push yourself to act, the moment you take even the smallest step, the weight of excuses falls away and the energy of progress begins to build. Purposeful action is not about doing everything at once. It is about doing what you can with what you have where you are. Small actions, repeated daily, compound into great results. Choosing to greet the day with energy, to complete a task you've been delaying, to spend time on what matters rather than what distracts. These small victories create a sense of control and achievement that naturally fuels happiness. Progress, no matter how modest, produces joy because it tells your spirit, I am moving forward. I am not stuck. I am alive with possibility. When you act with purpose, you also silence doubt. Excuses often arise from fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. But action dissolves fear. The moment you step forward, even imperfectly, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Each purposeful act becomes a statement of self-respect, a reminder that you are in command of your destiny. And self-respect is the root of lasting happiness, for nothing drains joy faster than the feeling of betraying yourself by living below your potential. Remember this, happiness is not a passive gift, it is an active pursuit. If you want it to visit you each day, you must move toward it with purpose. Do not wait for conditions to be ideal. Do not surrender to excuses that whisper, not today, maybe tomorrow. Begin now. Take the action that is within your power. Build momentum through motion, and watch how your spirit responds. For in the discipline of purposeful action lies not only achievement, but also the radiant happiness of knowing you are living fully, without hesitation, without regret. My friends, happiness is not reserved for the lucky or the wealthy. It belongs to the disciplined, the determined, the ones who refuse to surrender their mood to circumstance. Push yourself each day to command your mind, to choose joy, to rise above obstacles, to walk with the right people, to feed your inner world, and to act with purpose. Do this, and happiness will not just visit you, it will live with you every day. Thank you.